We're going to get started. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. This is Nick Petro at the National Weather Service, along with
Chrissy Cockrell.
All right. And here's your weekly impact weather briefing for Central North Carolina that covers the period today through Sunday, through the 10th of February. Thanks for joining us, as always. And we'll go ahead and go to the next slide. All right. And yeah, go ahead and click on the window, and then go ahead and advance. All right. So here's the weather pattern, and you can see, in case you're wondering about that swirl off the Carolina coast right now, that little upper disturbance and a little bit of a surface reflection will continue to drift east. That's not going to cause us any problems here in Central North Carolina. What about the rest of this week's weather pattern, Chrissy? You want to tell the folks what to expect the rest of this week?
Well, the middle of the week should be pretty dry, and we are going to experience above normal temperatures. But as the week goes into late this week, we will have a cold front that can possibly bring us a few showers that will come through Friday, late Friday, Friday night. And then through this weekend, we should dry up and have more seasonable winter weather temperatures for the weekend.
All right. So yeah, technically we're still in the winter season, although I think winter seasonable temperatures for us this time of year are highs in the mid 50s and lows in the mid 30s, maybe upper 30s in some across the south. So not seasonable is not terribly cold. That cold front. Models aren't terribly wet with that, so there's not a whole lot of rain with that front late in the week, Friday night. The one thing most people will probably really notice is how warm it's going to be prior to that cold front. We're going to see temperatures, in the 60s and hitting 70 perhaps by Wednesday. So yeah, real pleasant actually right through midweek. So let's go ahead to the next slide. And this is the severe thunderstorm potential from the Storm Prediction Center, and this is a basic kind of a staple slide we include in all our briefings to let folks know if there's a risk for severe thunderstorms the next 3 days, and there are none. No risk for thunderstorms at all, severe or otherwise. All right. So this slide is our rainfall amounts, because with when we parts of the week that do have a risk for rain, folks may want to know, well, how much? Well, these graphics are courtesy of the Weather Prediction Center, which is a branch and office of the National Weather Service. They look at things on more a national level, and we can see today and Tuesday and Wednesday are pretty much dry. Thursday and Friday shows dry. Saturday and Sunday shows a little wet. But Chrissy, what's the deal with the thing there with Friday showing dry and Saturday, the weekend, showing wet? Because we just mentioned that Friday might be wet and the weekend should be dry. What's going on there?
Well, Friday should be pretty fair, but as we move into Friday night, that's when the cold front will come through, and that's when we will get our most higher chances of precipitation. So that's why Saturday morning starts at midnight, so that's why we would get into that little bit of precip. So
yeah, so basically what you see for Saturday and Sunday, that's going to be mostly Friday night. It's just the way the graphics are done, it doesn't really convey or project the time frame very well. But the point is when you look at the 7-day total, we're looking at pretty light rainfall amounts. That second shade of green there is a tenth to a quarter of an inch. So we're not talking much, if any, rain this week. Really, should be mostly dry week. All right, next slide shows the river observations. Do we have any issues going on with the rivers, Chrissy?
No, I've been monitoring them for the past week, and we do not have any river in floods in our area, and we don't expect any flooding through this week. So.
All right, so we, given how wet it's been this past fall and in early winter, we begin to include these graphics in our weekly briefing. All right, next slide takes you to the Climate Prediction Center for those folks who want to peek even further ahead. So we're looking at the next week. So the week after this current week. All right, and one thing you notice is, when one side of the country is warm, the other side is cold. Mm-hmm. And so when the Midwest was really cold last week, out in the West it was warmer than normal, and you kind of get the picture, So the cold has retreated and for next week will affect mostly the northern Rockies and northern central plains, maybe extending up into far northern New England. But for the southeast U.S., the odds are favoring above normal temperatures continuing through next week. Now, don't get the wrong idea here. Don't get the impression that winter is over. Okay, we're only, this graphic here, 8 to 14, only takes us through mid-February. We still have all the rest of February to go and maybe even early March. So don't worry. I think winter's going to make an appearance at some point before it's all said and done, before we get to the spring season. And odds favor above normal precip for next week. So, we're probably going to be in vicinity or near a frontal zone, and that's what this is kind of suggesting. But generally, it looks like we'll be on the warm side of the frontal zone, at least through the first half of next week. Not this week, but the following week. All right. So anyway, Chrissy, you want to wrap up the briefing for this week?
Sure. So the summary for this upcoming week, we have, like I said earlier, dry and above normal temperatures through the middle of the week. And then that cold front around Friday night will come through and bring a chance of showers. And then this weekend should look pretty clear, pretty fair, I should say. And we're going to have more winter seasonable temperatures.
All right. Well, very good. That wraps up this weekly briefing for Central North Carolina. And you can go ahead and hit that